So these protocols are present in the layer called as data link layer. So different type of multiple access protocols are there. So what are the different type of multiple access mean? One is Aloha, carrier sense multiple access protocols, collision free protocols, limited contention protocols, wavelength division multiple access protocols, wireless LAN protocols. So these are all the different type of protocols existed in the multiple access protocol. We'll see one by one. Today we'll discuss what is Aloha protocol. So before going to discuss about this Aloha protocol, first we need to understand what is this multiple access protocol, where these protocols are existed, and how the working principle and rules are there for this multiple access. So for that we'll see one example where these multiple protocols are existed. So according to the OSI layer, so according to the OSI reference model, we have 7 layers are there, right? So in that 7 layers, the first layer is physical layer, and next one is data link layer. Above to that, we have network layer is there. So these means 7 layers are there. These three are the bottom layers, bottom 3 layers related to hardware part. So hardware layers, these 3 layers related to the hardware layers and are responsible for local area network connections or metropolitan area networks or wide area network connections. Now this network layer means while the data is transmitted from this network layer to data link layer. What is the data in network layer? It is in the form of packets, right? It is in the form of packets. So now packets is transmitted to data link layer. Here a data link layer, by using the framing technique, it will frame the data and it send back to the physical layer. Now through a transmission channel, the physical layer will transmit data to physical layer of the receiver device. So from this physical layer, the data is taken by data link layer and make it a frame and pass it to the network layer. So again reverse process is taken by this one. So like this, the data is transmitted from one layer to the other layer, and through a particular channel it will reach to the receiver side also. Here we have data link layer is there, right? So this is called data link layer. From the bottom, this is the second layer we have. So in that data link layer, we have two sublayers are there. What are the two sublayers? We'll see. So those two sublayers, again, the data link layer is divided into two parts. For example, this is a physical layer. So physical layer is connected to physical layer of the receiver device. So through a channel, it is passing bits, binary data from sender device to the receiver device, right? So here above to this physical layer, we have data link layer is there, right? And here also above to the physical layer, we have the layer called data link layer. Again, this data link layer is divided into two parts. This data link layer is divided into two parts. So what are the two parts here? Logical link control layer and MAC sublayer. So here also logical link control layer, and this is MAC sublayer. Understand? So above to this, we have network layer is there. So similarly at the receiver side also we have the network layer. So this is connection between node to node, and network layer is also connected, right? So if you observe this one, The above to the physical layer, we have a data link layer is there. But in that data link layer, again we have two sublayers are there. What are the two sublayers here? One is logical link control layer, another one is MAC sublayer. So this MAC sublayer is nothing but medium access control sublayer, which is passing data from data link layer to physical layer. So what is the duty of this logical link control layer? Mean it will take the data from networking. So we'll see what are the responsibilities of this logical link control layer and MAC sublayer. So the data link layer is responsible for transmission of data between two devices or nodes. So the main responsibility of data link layer is to transmit the data between two or more devices. So simply the devices are called as nodes, computer systems. So it divides the layer into two subparts called data link control sublayer. So this is the other name for logical link control sublayer, and the other one is multiple access control sublayer. So see the first one, what is this data link control layer? So the data link control is a reliable channel for transmission of message or data by using various techniques like framing technique, error control and flow control. So we have functionalities of data link layer are there. So in those complete functionalities, these three framing, error control and flow control are taken care by this logical link control layer. So these are the functionalities of the sublayer called logical link control layer. Hence it is termed as logical link control sublayer. So because of using this framing, error control and flow control, this is logically connecting the data. That's why the data link control layer is also called as logical link control sublayer. So then what about multiple access control layer? So what is this multiple access control layer mean? Simply called as MAC. Simply called as MAC sublayer. So medium access control, or otherwise we call it as multiple access control. If there is a dedicated link, if there is a dedicated link between the sender and the receiver, then the data link control layer is sufficient. However, there is no dedicated link present, then the multiple stations can access the channel simultaneously. So what it's meaning? So data link layer is divided into two parts. Why it is divided into two parts? If for example data link control layer is there, so if a dedicated channel means if a single channel which is a reliable one and dedicated to a particular sender and the receiver is there, then the simple data link control layer is sufficient. But if for example more number of links are there, mean there is no dedicated link is there, at that particular time what will happen? Sender A wants to send the data, sender B wants to send the data, sender C wants to send the data, like that multiple access will happen. So multiple stations can access the channel simultaneously. So in that particular case, the data link control layer is not sufficient. So we will move to the, or we will use the another sublayer that is called as multiple access control sublayer. So to means to access the multiple channel, means multiple stations can access the channel, we are using various protocols. So what are the different type of protocols are used? So why these different protocols are also used? Mean if multiple access control is there, mean multiple access of a particular channel is there, then one particular user want to use that, and the second user want to use the same channel, a third one want to use the same channel. So like that, if more number of stations want to use the same channel, it leads to a concept called as collision. So to avoid that collision, we are using various protocols. So three different type of multiple access protocols are there. One is random access control protocol, second one is controlled access protocols, and third one is channelization protocols. So these channelization protocols we already discussed in previous classes. So what are the channelization protocols? Three different channelization protocols are there. One is FDMA, TDMA, CDMA. So what is this FDMA? Frequency division multiple access. TDMA means time division multiple access, and CDMA means code division multiple access. So these are also used for multiple access protocols, one of the type. And next one, random access protocols. So in next videos we will discuss this one. What is Aloha? That is CSMA. CSMA means carrier sense multiple access, and CSMA CD, CSMA CA. CSMA carrier sense multiple access collision detection, and CSMA CA means carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance. So all these protocols, these are four different protocols which are under the random access protocols. And next one is controlled access protocols. So controlled access protocols are again of three types. One is reservation, polling, token passing. So based on the protocol, some rules, we are dividing the means we are applying the algorithms or techniques to access the channels by a multiple number of systems. So we'll see what is this random access protocol. So a station that has data to send uses a procedure defined by a protocol to make a decision or whether or not to send. Means, what is this random access? If you have a single channel is there and that channel is accessed by multiple number of users. So those multiple number of users not having a dedicated channel, dedicated link to transmit the data. So what will happen? So user A wants to send the data and B wants to send the data. That means the random access is done in that particular case. So this decision depends on the state of the medium. So to access that particular medium by n number of users without a dedicated channel, then how it will be decided means based on the state of the medium or the state of the channel. So what is the state of the channel? It is in two. So if the channel is free, means there is no access of the channel by any of the user, then that case is called as idle case of the channel. Otherwise, if the channel is busy with some other user, mean the user transmitting the data by using that channel. So in that particular, the channel is said to be in busy state. So based on that state of the medium, the decision is depends. There is no scheduled time for a station to transmit. I mean, there is no slot. There is no slot for a particular user. Transmission is random among the stations. So, if a particular slot is not there, that means the user can transmit data at any time. So, randomly they can send the data through that particular channel. So, that's why these methods are called as random access methods, because there is no particular slot, there is no schedule for a particular transmission channel. So the station need to take transmit means the station need to transmit a data at any time. Randomly it can transmit the data. That's why the methods are called as random access methods or random access protocols. Here no roles specify which station should send next. Stations compete with one another to access the medium. That is why these methods are also called as contention methods. So there is no specific rule for particular stations. That means, what are the rules? First, user A sends the data. Next, user B sends the data. Next, user C sends the data. Like that, there is no rule is there. Any user can send the data at any time. That means randomly they can utilize the channel. So by random by randomly use the stations or channels, here there is a competition between one user to the another user, because at a particular moment two or more users want to transmit the data. That is nothing but competition between those users, because channel is one, but two or more users want to utilize the same channel. So that's why these methods are also called as contention methods. Contention methods. If more than one station tries to send at a time. So here in the above case, we already told there is no rule for the users. They are randomly accessing the data. So randomly accessing data means there is no particular schedule for a particular user to send a data in that particular time. So what will happen? At a time, two or more users transmitting the data through that particular through a single channel only. So if that type of cases are happen, mean multiple stations acting upon the same channel, then it leads to a collision. It leads to a conflict which is called as collision. So here we have different types of random access protocols are there. One is Aloha, CSMA, CSMA CD, and CSMA CA. So we'll see first one, what is Aloha protocol. So it is developed in the year of 1970s at the University of Hawaii. So in 1970s only this Aloha protocol was developed. So the basic idea is very simple. So what is the basic idea of this Aloha protocol mean? Let user transmits whenever they have data to be sent. Mean there is no specific schedule for a user. Randomly the user can utilize the channel. If the user is having some data, so simply he can send the data or transmit the data through a channel. This is the basic idea of Aloha protocol. If two or more users send their packets at the same time, then a collision occurs and the packets are destroyed. So this is one of the drawback with Aloha protocol, but there is no schedule is there and there is no dedicated link is there. That's why two or more users send their packets at the same time, then it leads to a collision. So if collision occurs, then simply what the packets, what the data sent by the users, that are destroyed only. And this Aloha protocol is mainly designed for wireless local area network models, but it can also be used in shared medium to transmit the data. So not only for wireless LANs, it is also used for shared medium also. So this Aloha is derived from a compound of Hawaiian words. So because it is developed by University of Hawaii. So why this name Aloha is given mean, here there is two separate specific meanings for this one. Elo means share and Ha means essence of life. Mean to share the essence of life, we will use the protocol called as Aloha protocol. These words are given by Hawaiian words. Next, some of the rules we need to follow by using this Aloha protocol. So what are the rules we need to follow? Mean, first one is any station can transmit data to a channel at any time. So there is no specific schedule for any user. So that's why any station can transmit the data at any time. That is the first rule. And second one, it does not require any carrier sensing. So CSMA, carrier sensing, means if user 1 want to send the data, it doesn't sense the channel, whether it is idle state or it is busy state. It doesn't mean that, means it doesn't bother about the channel, means sensing the carrier. It does not require any carrier sensing. Even though the channel is busy or idle, the user transmit the data only. Collision and data frames may be lost during the transmission of data through multiple stations. So collision may be occurred, and if the collision occurred, simply the data packets or the data is destroyed or lost. Acknowledgement of the frames exists in Aloha, hence there is no collision detection. So here in this Aloha, acknowledgement is existed, means once the data is transmitted to the receiver, so simply it will expect the acknowledgement. So requires retransmission of data after some random amount of time. So here acknowledgement concept is there. So this acknowledgement is mainly used for collision detection, mean to detect the collisions. So once the data is transmitted, it requires the retransmission of data after some random amount of time. That means if the user not getting any acknowledgement, then simply it will retransmit the data. We already discussed this one. It will, when it starts sending the data, it should starts the timer. So once the timer times out, and it is not getting any acknowledgement from the receiver, so simply it retransmits the same copy again. So these are the rules of Aloha protocols, and these Aloha protocols are of two types. One is pure Aloha and the other one is slotted Aloha. So we'll see in the next classes what is pure Aloha and what is slotted Aloha. Thank you.